Why hello there trainers, greetings, KuroBlitz here and welcome back to another video on my channel. So as for today I want to just show another idea that I had. I know that I promised the What If Ash Woke Up on Time part 2 with being the Johto for this month, but my mind is elsewhere and apparently it continues on into being in Kanto. And I also had other stuff to do, especially with Masters and the anime and whatever more, cooking stuff in the background and whatever more. But yeah, there is, this little idea that I kind of want to share, or at least, something I've been working around during this weekend, just, as a little fun thing. Because I saw, Lockstin's video of, Pokemon 2096, that's like, Pokemon Red, Green, and Blue 100 years into the future. And I saw, Pokemon Legends Rhyme Doll. That's like, the Legends version of a fan-made game. And it's really good. It's really good. And I decided to, combine these two aspects and try to get my own twist into it. And I was trying to think about, because Legends Arceus or Arceus or whatever, it's been very, popular. So I was like, how it would be for all of the other regions, right? And I already did, what if Hisui had a league and whatever more. So I was like, how would it be Kanto? Like, because the one thing about Pokemon is that we have a lot of Pokemon, right? We are reaching 1000 very, very soon, right? And I'm like, we don't really need more games, we just need, like, we don't need more regions or Pokemon, just utilize what you have and be creative, like how Hisui did with Legends. And I'm like, what if we did it with Kanto, right? What if we used Kanto, right, even though it's already overused as hell, but if we used Kanto in the past, in the times of, when it stopped being feudal and the fiefdoms and it started to be more industrial, as the turn of the 19th to the 20th century, right? And this is basically what I want to do, right? Pokemon Legends Kanto. I don't know what the legendary would be. It could be Mew, it could be a Quartz Pokemon because of, the Indigo Plateau, it's, the Quartz Plateau, right? Maybe it's the fourth bird like Quatz Quattro, like Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres, I don't fucking know, you guys decide, right? This is a creative process, right? But it would be, very funny how it would be to see, Kanto in the time of, 1896 or something around those lines, right? And, basically I just decided to, do that. And the starting point, it's going to be, Cottage, the Cottage of Bill, Cape Cottage, right? It's going to be like this little settlement, and the one in charge is going to be Charm, right? From, the bandits, right? The misfortunes from, Hisui, because, she's from Kanto, right? She's the ancestor of Bertha and Agatha, for fuck's sakes. And, this is going to be, our hub, right? I'm gonna call it Cottage Village, right? In terms of, ancestors for characters and whatever more, there's a lot. I'm going to let you guys decide on that. There's only one character besides, Charm that I kind of have in mind, and I will talk about it in the future of the video. But so, without further ado, before we actually get started, I just want to, say what it's going to be, the premise for, the Pokemon of this region, because we all know that all of other regions have different types of Pokemon, right? So yeah, as for this, well, there are three characteristics. So we have the Ronin Pokemon, we have the Vassal Pokemon, and we have the Pokemon Shoguns. So the Ronin Pokemon are basically, Pokemon that are, untamable. They are the wildest of the wild Pokemon, right? They are basically, your totems or nobles. And the Shogun are the ones that, they kinda ask for jobs, right? Because that's what a Ronin is. It's a samurai without a master. They just are hired, right? And the Shoguns could be the ancestors of characters that you could, whatever the fuck you want, right? And Shoguns will be basically the trial captains or, the Pokemon wardens from Hisui. And then we have the Vassal Pokemon. The Vassal Pokemon would be, the soon-to-be starters of Kanto, right? And they could, travel to the land, sea, and sky. But you could ride whatever Pokemon you have on your team, just like in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, so you don't have ride Pokemon like, a Lola or in Legends, because anything is rideable and, partner moves out of the blue, right? But there are three important Pokemon in this region, and they are, the the regions, you know, it's still going to be Kanto. Still going to be named Kanto. But those are going to be, you know, the starter Pokemon in the future. Basically, imagine, you know, the Poke Gods, right, from Bill's Garden, right, in the lighthouse. Not the lighthouse, because that's the anime, the cottage, right? And the starters for this, it's going to be, you know, Pokemon that are associated with Kanto as of the 3D era, right? So it's going to be Fennekin, Popplio, and Grookey. Because Kalos, it's connected to Kanto because you get the Kanto starters in Kalos, Alola because, you know, regional variants or whatever more, and you know, Galar because Charizard and the Kanto starters in the DLC. So that's basically that. As for these Pokemon, when they basically fully evolve, they get new forms and therefore new types. For example, Delphox, it's going to be Fire Fairy, so it's going to be more mystical and more magical, and it bypasses Psychic, it becomes, you know, Fairy type. Popplio is going to be, you know, a Water Steel Primarina, because of all of the industrial, you know, population and whatever more in Kanto, so the waters become more mercury based and very toxic and whatever more, very pollution and whatever more. So I want something for, you know, to counter it, right? You know, it's like how, for example, how Execute its Psychic and Executor its Dragon, but in Kanto they remain the Psychic to counter the poison. So basically, if the water it's becoming more poisonous because of the Industrial Revolution, you need something to, you know, cancel the poison. So Primarina becomes Steel, right? It's like a mercury-based Primarina, right? And Grookey, basically, you know, Rillaboom just becomes more savage. It, you know, channels his inner Zarude, like how Leon's did in Pokemon Journeys very recently. And these are the types that are introduced post-Kanto, right? Dark, Steel, and Fairy. So that's basically, you know, my first premise for, you know, this Pokemon Legends Kanto pitch idea game, whatever more. So without further ado, let's get really started with, you know, the whole adventure and, you know, the open zones of this world. Alright then, so we have the cottage village right in the Cape, but that's like its little settlement, like, you know, its sovereign state. In the northeast Kanto, we basically have, you know, the Cerulean Fieldlands, right? It involves the cities of Cerulean, Saffron, Vermilion, and also Lavender Tower. In terms of, you know, this place in this timeline, you are going to travel around the soon-to-be routes, of course, but you're going to travel as well with, you know, the Diglett Tunnel system, because, you know, that's a thing. The underground, it's not a thing yet, but you are going to see the underground paths going to, you know, start to be built upon. You are also going to see, you know, the bike shop is going to open, because you are going to make the cycling road, right? You are going to see, you know, Silph Corporation being established, right? You are going to see the Pokemon Fan Club in Vermilion being established. The first SSN, right? Even, you know, the tower in Lavender, it's going to be rising up. Even, you know, there's going to be a lot in this. Even the power plant where Zapdos is going to, you know, soon to be roost, right? And this is basically, you know, the idea that I have for, you know, this section of the game, you know, the Cerulean Fieldlands, sorry. This is what I'm going to do for the Ronin Pokemon. Ronin Pokemon that I have for this part, it's going to be, you know, in 3 landmarks of the region, okay? So, we do have the Cave Ronin being Blissey, the Tunnel Ronin being Hitmontop, and the Bridge Ronin being Slowking. So, the whole idea that I have for these Ronin Pokemon, right, it's that, you know, they are shiny. They are outcasts from their own species because they are shiny. And they are like this because, you know, Commander Kamado, he lived in the Lake of Rage and Shiny Gyarados destroyed that place, right? That's basically the idea of what happened. So shiny Pokemon are known because Charm, and, you know, she worked in the Galaxy Expedition team in Isui, and she saw, you know, shiny Pokemon. You even have that side quest with, you know, the Ponyta and whatever more. But shiny Pokemon, they are not, you know, common, right? They are seen as genetic outcasts. They are seen as a menace, right? Because of what the Gyarados did in, you know, the Lake of Rage in Johto. So these Pokemon they are very weird and very odd because there is no breeding, right? Breeding was discovered in Johto. There is no breeding here as of yet, right? Even the daycare in Route 5 was not even established yet. So shiny Pokemon are an oddity and therefore they are outcasts of their own species. And because they are outcasts, they train for years, decades in solitude. So they basically become their most powerful form in the evolutionary line. And sometimes they become Pokemon from the Johto region, and because Johto and Kanto had, you know, various disputes because of annexation, right? These Pokemon are even more ostracized because they are Pokemon from the land of Johto inhabiting Kanto. So no one likes that these Pokemon even exist. They are not mean by any means, they are not bad, but you know, they can get easily frenzied because, you know, humans are, you know, just industrializing and, you know, cutting corners and whatever they live, so they want to protect, you know, their fiefdoms, right, you know, their landmarks. So Blissey, it's going to be the Cerulean Cave, Hitmontop, it's going to be the Rock Tunnel, and Slowking, it's going to be, you know, in the bridge where Snorlax, it's going to, you know, in the future show up, right? And after you defeat these guys, you are going to be blessed and you are going to, you know, battle the vassal, right, you know, of this, you know, land. And it's going to be the Sky Vassal, that's going to be Charizard, right? So Charizard, it's, you know, the vassal of this land. Basically, you know, the equivalent of, you know, the kahuna of, you know, the Cantonian kahuna, if that makes any sense. So you can kind of already see where I'm going, you know, with this in terms of, you know, time, right? The second section of Kanto, the northwest part, it's going to be the Indigo Highlands. It's going to have the Indigo Plateau, as well as, you know, the cities of Viridian, Pewter, and Celadon. And the Pokemon League already exists, right? So this is basically 100 years before Kanto. The Pokemon League in Kanto existed 150 years prior, so the Pokemon League exists, but not in the way that you think. And allow me to explain. Alright, so we know that in the anime lore, Masara Town was called Masara Town because of Okido Masara, right? The ancestor of Professor Oak. So Pallet Town became Pallet Town because of, you know, Pallet Oak. In Japanese, instead of Masara, the town was called Mashiro. Shiro meaning white. So most likely the town was called Pale Town, right? So what I want to do here is that, you know, Masara Okido, sorry, you know, Pallet Oak, he's from Pale Town, Mashiro Town, right? And he's the champion of the Indigo Plateau, and he's going to be the final boss reminiscent to, you know, the Professor Oak glitch, and he's going to have a lot of normal type Pokemon. That's his shtick, right? However, you are not going to battle an Elite Four because that's not a thing. You are going to battle in a competition like in the anime or even in the Galar games. The final four are going to battle in a battle royale akin to Alola, right? A 3v3 battle royale, right? The one on top, it's the master of the Elite Four, basically the Lance, right? And only that person is allowed to challenge the champion. So basically every year the Elite Four is always interchanging, right? But the champion would also, you know, remain the same until the master dethrones, right? It's kind of like how Lance was the master of the Elite Four and then he became the champion, even though he didn't overthrow anyone. But I digress. This is just, you know, my idea. Continuing on to the Indigo Highlands, we have, you know, the Road Ronin being Steelix, the Mount Ronin being Crobat, and the Forest Ronin being Bellossom, these being located in the Victory Road, in Mount Moon, and of course Viridian Forest. And after all of these, you know, Ronin Pokemon are defeated from their frenzies, the land vassal of this part of the region is going to show up, and that's going to be Venusaur, right? And, you know, Charizard can be called upon to help you fly, and Venusaur can, you know, be called upon to, you know, walk on land. You can basically, you know, leapfrog like you do with rear deer. You can use, you know, vine whip to climb, you know, like how you do with Sneasler. And you can use, you know, the sense of Venusaur to basically track down things like how you do with Ursaluna. Charizard is basically your Braviary in this region. You can use your own Pokemon to be rights, but after defeating the vassals of the region, they become, you know, more than right Pokemon, if that makes any sense. But yeah, so continuing on with, you know, the section 3 in southwest Kanto, that's going to be the Cinnabar coastlands. Then we have, you know, Cinnabar Island, we have the Seafoam Islands, and we also have, you know, Pale Town that will soon become Pallet Town after the rolling of the credits. You can even see from the horizon that, you know, the cycling road it's being built upon, so that's also great. And you know, the Ronin Pokemon of, you know, this section of the map, they are going to be in Seafoam Islands, and because there are 2 of them, you only need to go to one of them, but you can battle both, and these are going to be, you know, Politoed and Kingdra. You only need to battle one, but if you want, you know, more experience, you can battle both for, you know, unlocking, you know, something about the story or whatever more. It will always depend on you, and of course, after, you know, you quell their frenzy, that's when the Sea Vassal, right, Blastoise, is going to show up, and he's going to, you know, help you out with, you know, going to unexplored islands of Kanto, and maybe with a DLC for this game you will go to the Sevi Islands or whatever more, right? But that's basically, you know, just the gist of it. And last but not least, the 4th section of, you know, this game, being the southeast Kanto, that's, you know, the Fuchsia Wildlands, right? So basically you have, you know, fieldland, highland, coastland, wildland, right? That's basically the whole gist of it. Even the colors. Cerulean and Indigo in the north, they are shades of blue, and Cinnabar and Fuchsia in the south, they are shades of, you know, red, because of international release, right? But, you know, there is a lot to process here. But because, you know, all of, you know, the Pokemon are going rampant and whatever more, there's going to be the final Ronin that you have to battle. And, you know, this Ronin, it's in the Safari Zone, and because of the Safari Zone, it's a place that, you know, it's going to be very business-wise. The Pokemon itself, it's also, you know, very industrial in nature. It's something that really doesn't belong. And that's going to be, you know, a Scizor. Granted, just like, you know, the red Gyarados in Kanto, in Johto, sorry, that was a red magic card, this is a false shiny as well. This was a Scyther, a normal Scyther that maintained his color, and that is also akin to a shiny Scizor, and he became a Ronin out of the blue. This is the one Ronin that, you know, even the Shogun is trying to help. And even, you know, with many side tracks in the games and side quests and whatever more, you can encounter Mew. If you go to the other lands, right, you can see the roosting places of the legendary birds, and you can basically gather them in, you know, Cerise Island. That's going to be, you know, a location from the manga that's going to be around this part. But yeah, that's, you know, basically it. I don't know if I will do like a Quartz Quattro, a flying type Pokemon. I think it would be, you know, the mascot. I don't have any idea how it will be. I know that it would have some elements of Lugia and Owo, so imagine like this 4th bird, there would be like this fusion of, you know, Lugia and Owo, so gold, silver, it would be like a bronze Pokemon. Well, bronze and quartz, it's actually, no, gems. So it could be rock type, because rock defeats all of the other 3 birds, and even Lugia and Owo, right? And even the Cerise Island, it's a giant rock. And even Victory Road, Rock Tunnel. So yeah, there's, you know, even Oops and Hip Hop did Rock Quattro, right? And that's, you know, the gist of it. This Pokemon would be, this hypothetical Pokemon would be Ground Dragon, because in the DLC of Sword and Shield, Ho-Ho learned Scorching Sands and Lugia learned Scale Shot. So it's basically the types that they are not. The Ground Turkey and, you know, the Silver Dragon, right? But that's basically the gist of it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this idea for a Legends Kanto game. I know I didn't do predecessors or ancestors or shoguns. I want to leave that up to you, and even more things of the story. Let me know what you like, what you didn't like. Make sure to comment in the section down below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. My name is KuroBlitz, and have an awesome journey, trainers.